And of course, a heartfelt salutations. Welcome to Open Mic, the show where the mic is open, the floor is yours. What do you guys want to talk about? That's what we are here to discuss. Anything in our wonderful world of movies, movie news, TV, and streaming. You got something on your mind, you got a topic, you got a question, send it on in. We'll discuss it here on the show. Now, there's two different ways you can send in a topic or a question for us to address on Open Mic. One is, if you're watching this or listening to this any time of the 23 hours of the day that we're not streaming live, go ahead and use our tip link and send it in there, going to streamelements.com/John Campea/tip. So you can send it in that way. Or if you are watching as we're doing this live, you guys can go ahead and use the super chat feature. I'm going to let you know the super chats are almost filled already, so we're going to leave it open for another 5 or 10 minutes. But if you got a topic or question you want to send in via super chat, do that fairly quickly. I am, of course, your host, John Campea. It's great to have you guys here on this afternoon. I'm joined by Ray Ora.
Hey.
Jonathan Voico's here.
Hello, everybody.
Ray's been very busy trying to land an airplane. What is the game you're playing over there, by the way?
It's called F-18, landing.
Is that what it's actually called? Yeah. And that's the one thing you're not doing in this game is landing.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything like that. I'm
I'm
landing in everything else except the landing strip.
I was over getting a drink and I heard like crash or something like that. I said, I don't think you're playing the game right. And Ray said, I am playing the game right because I'm trying to kill Goose. It's like, well, then you're doing a bang-up job. All right, guys. Hey, listen, before we get into your questions that we're going to address here, I want to take a second touch on this. I thought this was really interesting. Now, you guys know that there, of course, is an actor strike going on right now, right? So almost all movie production has been shut down. Now, there's a few things being shot, few smaller things by some non-AMPTP signatory studios, like small ones like A24, which have gotten special waivers from SAG to go ahead and continue production on their stuff. But there are some bigger things, and they are going to continue to production. And one of those big things, I know this is going to be right at the top of Ray Ora's list, is Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Mm-hmm. Because according to a report, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Paddington, by the way, Paddington 3, are going to go on and continue production without actors, without their SAG actors. This is what it says in the report. This is coming from CBR. Says this: the upcoming threequel, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Paddington in Peru, will reportedly resume production without SAG actors. According to Screen Daily, Paddington in Peru is filming in the UK without SAG actor Rachel Ziegler, who joined the cast in June of 2023. As well, Paramount Pictures' Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is gearing up to begin production in September without actors. Sonic features several CG-created main characters, presumably making it easier to shoot than other major blockbuster productions that don't feature CG-created characters. The report also stated that Netflix has some series in production in the UK, although it did not mention explicitly which projects are shooting at this time. Okay, so Sonic the Hedgehog, its main character is a CGI character. After Sonic the Hedgehog 2, you might be able to assume that multiple main characters are going to be CG characters. I mean, you got Marsden, right?
Right.
What's Marsden's first name again?
James
Marsden. Coming hot off of he's got an Emmy nomination, by the way, for Jury Duty. He's got an Emmy nomination for that.
Good.
So now we got Emmy nominated James Marsden. Mm-hmm. Of course, I love him in the Sonic movies. He's great. Obviously can't be in it right now because they're shooting. Because they're striking, I should say. So this does raise a really interesting question, because I've already seen some backlash to this online that, people should not be engaging in production until the SAG strike is over. And I saw some people writing that, shame on those crew members that are going to be working on Sonic 3 or whatever. They should be standing in solidarity with the actors. Now, before I say anything else, let me reaffirm again. Other than the one issue of residuals, which I'm still a little cloudy on, the issue of residuals. I'm still not quite sure where I land on that. But other than that one issue, I am completely on the side of the actors when it comes to the actor strike. I really believe they should be getting, if not all, then at least most of. I think most of the stuff they're asking for is very reasonable, and I hope they're able to get this strike settled soon. So I am on the actor's side. But that being said, if, let's say, Sonic 3 decides to begin production, and they have a bunch of scenes that they can shoot without SAG actors, like maybe got some extras in the background, all you need is to bring out cameras to a mall. Maybe there's a scene where Sonic and Shadow are talking about something in front of a mall or something. Okay, bring the camera crew out there, set up in front of the mall, have your extras walking in the background, and get your plate shot of where you're going to then put in your CG animated creatures and characters. Maybe you got a scene where Sonic is going through his bedroom. Okay, bring in the cameras, do the plates, shoot around the room, do all that kind of stuff. As long as you're not having the actors in there, I guess it's okay. Now, I understand the sentiment of, hey, if the actors are on strike, then the studios who they're striking against, so it makes no sense that they think the studios should support the actors. They're on opposite sides of this debate, but that, everybody else should be standing in solidarity with the actors. I want to remind everybody, and again, I am very pro actor, okay? But I do want to remind everybody who's saying that all those other crew people and all those people who are going to be shooting Sonic without SAG-AFTRA, they shouldn't be producing anything. They shouldn't be in production. They should be standing in solidarity with the actors and not doing production. I want to remind you that the writers have been on strike now for 101 days. The Writers Guild went on strike long before the actors did. Did the actors stop working in solidarity with the writers?
Nope.
Did the actors go, sorry, Mr. Director, sorry, Madam Producer, I, in solidarity with my brethren and sisterin in the Writers Guild, I'm going to stand in solidarity with them. I'm not going to act while they're on strike. No, they kept right on acting. By the way, as they should. They're under contract. Their union wasn't on strike. It was absolutely proper that they should still be doing their jobs and still be fulfilling their contracts. 100% appropriate they should. I'm not trying to bag on the actors for doing their job. Not at all. I'm just saying that for everybody out there who's crying and bemoaning that, oh, if the actors are on strike, everybody should stand in solidarity with them. The actors kept, when IATSE was about to go on strike, the actors weren't saying, well, then we're not going to work too. When the writers were on strike for months before the actor strike started, not one actor said, you know what? I'm not going to go to work today. I'm going to stand in solidarity with the writers. So why should anybody else do the same thing when the actors themselves are on strike? To me, it's preposterous to suggest that any of these productions shouldn't be allowed to carry on business as long as they're not using SAG-AFTRA talent. As long as they're not using SAG-AFTRA talent and they're following the rules, I don't see the problem here. And it makes sense. You know, listen, every day of production that goes by that you're not producing is costing your production company tons of money. Just to have everything sit there collecting dust is actually costing you money. If you got stuff you can do now, rearrange the schedule, shoot everything you can that doesn't require your SAG actors, and then push the stuff that does require your actors to the end of the production schedule, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the actor strike will be done by then. Then you pick up from there, and then you got your completed movie. I just don't see anything wrong with this. Now, Ray, I know you are very, very big on the Sonic movies. You love these, and I'm sure you want anything that's going to get you your Sonic 3 as soon as possible. But do you got any problem with people going to work and continuing to make this movie even while the SAG actors are on strike?
You know what? I'm going to answer this as truthfully. Honestly, it's like it didn't bother me to hear that at first, but now that I know that some actors are not liking it, then I kind of fall a little bit back from my stance of maybe not caring if they do it. I don't know. I just like, me, I take feelings into account sometimes. And business is not
Ray is all about feelings.
Business is not about feelings, but like for me that's why I'll never run a company. I don't think, because I'll be like, oh, he said, come on, let's give him more money.
Oh, he said,
I believe in, like, if in order to have like a good, like everyone like working together, everyone needs to be happy. That's what I believe in. But sometimes it's not like that. You can't do it that way. But I don't know. Well, I'll go with my first initial reaction, and yes, like it didn't bother me at all. You know what I mean?
By the way, a bunch of people in the live chat are asking Ray to be their boss now.
It's just because when they're just doing stuff without actors.
Yeah.
So what does it matter? You know what I mean? Like If they're not on strike, then they should be working. Like you said, they should be working. And it'll give them an easier time when the strike is over.
they get
They'll
back.
have less to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jonathan, what do you think about this whole thing?
Well, I mean, the Editors Guild is certainly not wrapping up in their edit bays and walking out of post-production. So,
Right.
no, I think as long as you're not, we talked about union rules before, and those rules are there for a reason. And you got to follow the rules, to like, well, they have rules in place for fairness and whatever. And they also have rules in place that allow you to work a non-AMPTP productions. And if the rules are there, then stop guilting people for following the rules, right? And if the production companies can shoot B-roll, or they can get some CGI work that doesn't, before they need to record ADR and get some things in place, I don't see any problem with it. I think that's silly.
Yeah, I think this is exactly what the studio should be doing. I think everybody's just doing their jobs, and they should be allowed to do their jobs. And we'll get to when the actors get their strike finished.
Is there any negatives to this? Have you seen before any examples that where they did stuff without the actors, and then the movie came out, and then you could see it in the film?
Not that I could think of. I mean,
Okay.
I can't even. When was the last time we had an actor strike?
Yeah.
Was this the 80s?
Yeah, I figured.
or something
while.
like that, right? So I just can't imagine what the downside would be. Look, when you're sitting down and getting ready to make a movie, you have somebody on your crew known as a line producer, right? And the line producer sits down with the director, they get the script, they understand everything that needs to go into the movie, and then the line producer will start to put together a schedule. It says, okay, we've got this location at this time. We're going to shoot these scenes first. We're going to shoot these scenes next over in this town. Then we're going to come back to the studio and film in the soundstage, these things and blah, blah. All you got to do is then go back to the line producer and say, okay, we don't have our actors. What can we shoot now? What in our production line can we are we shooting that doesn't require actors? Well, okay, if we don't have our actors here, let's take this and we'll move it into September, and we'll take these shots that we were going to do in September and let's move them now into August and shoot these here. It's just a matter of rearranging. At the end of the day, you're still getting all the shots you were going to get, and then it's up to your editor to then put it all together in the sequence of what the movie happens. So I really don't think there's any drawback.
I mean, there's literally jobs for people who just come in and clean the floors on sets and stuff and are organizing set pieces and whatever. You can't, yes, production stops, but you also have to have security to watch those things. You can't just expect everyone to just pause. That's not reality. That's not how these production sets work. Yeah. I mean, they're a massive logistical undertaking
with thousands of people.
Thousands of people.
So
and you can't just everyone walk home and people that are on the corporate side are accounting for these things. Are they going to walk home? I don't think so. And these people that are part of IATSE, they're happy with their union rules for right now and what they're getting. So why should they be striking?
Right. And why should they be out of work right now when they're not the one striking at the moment?
And me and you fairly liked Sonic 1 and 2, right?
Oh, I love Sonic 1 and 2. Yeah.
As long as this is something that's not out of the normal, like they probably shot stuff in 1 and 2 without the actors anyways. Like that's
100%. Yeah, there are many scenes shot without actors. So yeah, just a matter of doing it now. All right. Guys, with that down, let's get into your live questions, shall we? First, we're going to start with the people who sent in using our tip link. So, Jonathan, what do we got up first?
First up, Ethan Holgate writes, "Hi, crew. Rest in peace to William Friedkin, one of my favorite filmmakers. Love Exorcist, French Connection, and To Live and Die in L.A. Loved his honesty and how he wasn't afraid to say something as he saw it, and he had a great sense of humor. 87 is a great age."
Yeah, I read about that this morning, that he had passed away. Director of a lot of people remember his work with The Exorcist, which is like an iconic, and he's made several legendary kind of movies. And yeah, like I haven't actually heard from him in a while. I don't know what he's done a lot in the last bunch of years, but 87. Like, yeah, I mean, one of the truly great filmmakers, and he will be missed.
It's been a tough year.
Yeah, what's next?
Ethan is back. Have to say, John, you were right. Joyride was hilarious. Best comedy in a while. And it looks like Ray isn't the only one who eats cheese balls with chopsticks. It's a thing. Haha. Also, no spoilers. The three-way sex scene, one guy still had his underwear on. Weird, right?
Oh, did it? I didn't notice that.
He probably saw it. It's probably something that they overlooked.
Did you? Probably just something that they overlooked. Guys, listen.
Yeah. But that girl.
Joyride. Make no mistake. I'm not afraid to mention when a movie I love didn't do well. Joyride flopped. I mean, it was a super low budget movie. So I don't know if it lost all that much money, but it didn't make any money. I mean, it flopped. But that does not change the fact it is the best comedy in years. It is, no movie has made me laugh as many times and as hard as Joyride has. Honestly, I think I got to go all the way back to 40-Year-Old Virgin. This might be my absolute favorite comedy since 40-Year-Old Virgin. And so if you guys, which is my all-time favorite comedy. So if you guys have not seen Joyride, I think it's available on VOD now. Find it, get a couple of friends together, whether it's your guy friends, girlfriends, whatever, everybody can love this movie. It's absolutely a treasure. Make sure you watch Joyride. All right, what's next?
JM, none other. I live in Memphis, Tennessee. There is 0 AMC Regal Cinemark here. It's dominated by Malco Theaters, some bad. No subscription available. I used to have Regal Sub in Virginia, but I finally got Movie Pass and it works for Malco. $10
nice.
A month versus $10 for one ticket.
That's great. I mean, that's exactly what Movie Pass was brought back for, right? Because look, the reality is, if you live near an AMC, A-List is a better thing to get than Movie Pass. If you live beside a Regal, Regal Unlimited is probably your better bet than Movie Pass. But for people who kind of live where, your closest AMC is maybe 30 minutes away, you got other movie theaters around you, the relaunched Movie Pass, by the way, let's remind everybody again, under brand new leadership, the leadership that originally created the company before it got corrupted by new ownership later on. So the original creator of Movie Pass is now back in charge of it, and it could be a really good option. I'm surprised to hear that there isn't a Regal in Memphis, because I know Memphis isn't too terribly far from Nashville. And every time I go to Nashville, my buddy, to visit friends of mine there, they take me to Regal to go, because there's no AMC there, but they take us to Regal. But I'm surprised there's not a Regal in Memphis. I mean, really, no AMC and no Regal, the two biggest movie theater chains in America, and neither of them are in Memphis?
Guess you got to go to Nashville.
I guess so. All right, what's next?
All right. BK Dan tipped, John, do you think studios should or will make a limited number of screens, a double feature back-to-back of Dune Parts 1 and 2 with an intermission?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, these little novelty screenings always make a little bit of money because they really cost nothing to put on, right? And it's a neat little feature for film fans. I know it like back in the day, until there were too many Marvel films, every time a new Marvel film came out, there was some kind of marathon before. Every time a new Harry Potter thing, there was some kind of marathon. Come to theaters and watch part 1 and part 2. I do think they'll do that with Dune. I don't know if they'll do it nationwide. I don't know how many theaters they'll do it in, but I mean, it's inexpensive. It's basically free, and it generates a little bit of extra revenue. So I don't see the downside of it. All right, what's next?
All right, BK Dan is back. John, in my filthy opinion, Barbie will beat out Mario in box office because she's got better legs than Mario.
I don't know. You ever seen how high Mario can jump?
Dang.
He stomps a lot of turtles, a lot of little, what do they call the mushroom creatures? Goombas?
Goombas. Koopa and Koopa Troopers.
Koopas?
Koopa Troopers.
Koopas are the turtles, right? Yeah.
And then the Goombas.
So I don't know. Mario might have the better legs. Listen, it is now down to the crunch time because Barbie's now already had 3 weekends. Its revenue is going to slow down considerably, but it is in the home stretch. It's only like $350 million away. And it is pacing ahead of Mario. So it's going to be tight. It's going to be close.
Concerning news, though, because Jonathan went to go see it last night, and he said his theater was...
No, I mean, it was like 40% filled, but I mean, it's a Monday. It was a Monday night.
It was a Monday night.
And it's off after its third
Monday.
After its third weekend, yeah.
Right, it's going to be close.
People were like loving it in there. And there were still people dressed up.
Yeah, I've still seen people dressing up. And it's going to be tight. It's going to be close. It's going to come right down to the wire, I think. All right, what's next?
Sorry, Emilia Clarke. Regarding Emilia Clarke and Terminator Genishes, I do feel like she was very much miscast as Sarah Connor. To be fair, she wasn't the only miscast, Jai Courtney. Not to mention, above all else, the script was completely nonsensical gobbledygook.
Okay, all true, but we have all seen bad movies with bad scripts where an actor was still able to go in and elevate the material. Like, listen, an actor isn't going to make a bad movie a great movie. No actor can do that. Not even Daniel Day-Lewis, right? But an actor can elevate it. And We have all seen movies, bad movies. I can point to several Robert De Niro films where he's been in a bad film, but he elevated it. Emilia Clarke, again, from what I have seen so far, does not have the ability as an actress to even take a role where maybe she was miscast and maybe the script isn't all that good. But you put in a Bradley Cooper, you put in, somebody like a Jennifer Lawrence, you put in a Chiwetel Ejiofor, you put in like one of these truly really good actors, and they can take a bad script and they can take a questionable character. They can even take maybe a role they were a little bit miscast for, and they can elevate it a little bit. They can make the most out of that character and elevate it. In Genesis, in the Christmas holiday movie, in Secret Invasion, and there was one where she's with the guy in the wheelchair. I can't remember, one of the guys from Hunger Games. I'm freezing on it. But at any rate, she doesn't have that ability. She just, from what I've seen, the limited stuff that I've seen her in 4 or 5 different projects outside of Game of Thrones. And in Game of Thrones, she's fantastic. I don't want to come across like I don't like Emilia Clarke. I like Emilia Clarke. I'm just saying, I have to be honest. I am not seeing her as an actress have the ability to take in and really bring a character to life and then elevate the movie above its own material. And really good actors can do that. She can't do that yet.
Me Before You?
Yes, that was the name of it. Thank you.
Sam
Claflin.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, what's next?
The Murdoch Mystery Rights just finished Parks and Rec and Schitt's Creek for the first time. Loved both, but took some time for me to get into their rhythms. How long do you hold out before abandoning a sitcom specifically? Any sitcom that y'all recommend trying out, past or current?
First of all, those are 2 of my 3 favorite. I don't even know if I would call Schitt's Creek a sitcom. It's really, it's a weird show. Anyway, it's one of my all-time favorite shows. It's an interesting thing that you mentioned that about Parks and Rec, because I was late to the game with Parks and Rec. I started watching Parks and Rec when it was already into its 2nd season. Okay? So I was already the show was already going for a bit before I got on board with it. And I loved it from the first time I saw it. I later, after the series was done, I later went back to watch, I can't wait to watch season 1. And I was like, this isn't that good. I mean, they really did a lot of halftime adjustments. Like, they did season 1, and I think they instantly identified everything that didn't work, and they made a lot of changes for season 2. I honestly don't know. Parks and Rec is one of my either top 1 or 2 all-time favorite sitcoms, that and The Office. And I can tell you honestly, if I had started watching from season 1, episode 1, I might have tapped out. I don't know that I would have, but I might have tapped out somewhere along the line, but I got lucky and watched it halfway through. Listen, here's the thing. I will tap out on shows fairly quickly because it is not my job as an audience member to give a show a chance. That's not my job. It is the show's job to get me on board. That's their responsibility. It's not my responsibility. You and I, as audience members, we owe television shows shit. We owe them nothing. You don't owe them 1 minute of your time. If you choose to give it your time.
See what you did, Kevin?
Damn you, Kevin. If you choose to give the show your time, that is your choice. But it's the show's job then to get you hooked, get you into the show, get you invested in the show, and go. So me, depending on how offensively bad it is, like take a show like Legends of Tomorrow, the CW superhero show Legends of Tomorrow. I never really liked it too terribly much, but I didn't mind it. So I kept going for about a good full season, and then I tapped out. My Hero Academia is another good one. I love a lot of the show, but the main character,
Deku.
Midoriya?
Deku.
What's that?
Deku,
but his real name is Midori or something like that, whatever. I loved everything else about the show, but I couldn't take that character, and I gave it a full season, then I tapped out. And then there's stuff like Witcher season 3.
No wonder.
I'm not. I'm playing that for her. Then you get like something like Witcher season 3, where I got like 2 episodes in and I'm like, I'm done. And so it depends on how bad it is. If a show is really not good right from the beginning, I'll only give it 1 or 2 episodes. And after that, no.
And then he asked for a recommendation.
Kim's Convenience is right up there amongst, I think, one of the greatest comedies ever. It's like Schitt's Creek. It's a little Canadian show. It's where Simu Liu, Shang-Chi, and Ken got his start, was on this comedy. Paul, why am I forgetting Paul's last name? Mr. Kim, who plays Shang-Chi's dad. He's now in Mandalorian. He's the rebel pilot, the bigger Asian guy.
Right.
It's their show, one of the funniest shows, one of the best shows. You will be hooked within the first 5 minutes. 2 words for you: gay discount. This show will hook you right away. Kim's Convenience. You can find it on Netflix. Go and enjoy. All right, what's next?
Cody Hunt Films writes, as a union steward myself, I, for one, am stoked that the VFX on-set artists at Marvel are unionizing. It's long overdue. Hopefully, Disney voluntarily recognizes them, but considering what's going on with the strikes, I don't have much faith.
Again, it's important to keep a couple things in mind with that. Really, like some people hear Marvel's visual effects artists, and they think that, the artists that do all the visual effects for the Marvel movies. No. Marvel has like a very tiny, like 50-person staff of visual effects artists that work on several different types of things. But when it comes time to make movies like Avengers Endgame or Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, they contract out their visual effects work to third-party companies like Digital Domain, Weta, Industrial Light and Magic, although they own Industrial Light and Magic, but Industrial Light and Magic, according to law, still has to, tenure it. And they put that out and all that kind of stuff. So it's really a small group of visual effects artists who don't do the majority of work on Marvel films. That being said, it is still a body of visual effects artists, no matter how small. And if they can unionize, it may very well start a domino effect. I have been saying for years that visual effects artists need a union to give them the power of collective bargaining. They absolutely need it. They have absolutely no protections. And hopefully this can be the start of something. All right, what's next?
Spider Yavnik writes, hi everyone from Israel. I've been watching your channel for many years, and every year there's that early rant about the Nicole Kidman ad. It's almost
only been
every
around
week.
for 2 years.
It's almost every week, though. I visited the U.S. recently, and I had to go to an AMC just to watch the ad. Watched Meg 2. Ad was better than the movie.
You know what? I can't even disagree with you on
I
that.
couldn't even get through that without laughing.
I think I may have appreciated, because you know what? I think that theater that Nicole Kidman was sitting in is the one watching Meg 2, because ain't nobody was there.
Oh,
but
boy.
I will concur with you on that one, that it was better than Meg 2.
They need to change that promo, actually. Replace the movies that she's watching, all those old movies, put Meg 2 in there, put Joyride, all the movies that no one watched.
That nobody watched.
Because she's by herself and she's talking about, we come here, all of us together. It's like there's no one in that theater with you.
Again, I will say it again. The unintended message of that Nicole Kidman ad at AMC is nobody comes to AMC. Like, bring up your picture again. Bring up that picture again, Jonathan.
All right.
So,
Yeah,
like,
but I mean, what she's conveying is she's so
so
wealthy.
look, there
she
she's
bought the
walking
whole
down the
theater.
hallway of AMC. You know what you don't see? Customers.
What theater is that? I've never
That
seen
is a
numbers like
scary.
No
freaking-
customers.
that. Yeah.
Dude, that's a Shining-esque theater, by the way.
And then she walks into the theater, and you know what you don't see in the theater when she walks in?
People.
Customers. No customers. The message of that ad is nobody goes to AMC.
Or food. She was watching without any popcorn. How dare her?
Well, she got to watch her figure, man. She's a megastar.
Who said?
She's
Said
a
who?
megastar.
The stars can eat.
What's next?
Swanson Burgundy writes, I think I got the gist of the Gun Gustin segment on yesterday's show. Don't jump into conclusions over the smallest coincidences. Incidentally, Ben Affleck directed Air. The Justice League breathes air. That means Ben Affleck is directing Justice League.
Yeah, it's all right there in front of you. All you got to do is look.
All you gotta do is
By the
dig.
way, Air, I think is still
It's my number 2.
I think it's my number 3. Yeah, still in my top 3. It's number 2 for you.
Okay. It's either number 2 or it is Across the Spider-Verse is my number 2. and that's my number 3. That's probably more likely of what it is.
You got Oppenheimer as your number
That's
one?
my number 1.
I got that.
I'm almost there. I got Spider-Verse number 1, Oppenheimer number 2, Air number 3. So we got the same top 3, just in a different order. What about
Yeah.
you?
I got Oppenheimer, Guardians 3, Across the Spider-Verse, then Air.
So that's at your number 4.
Yeah.
So it's your number 2, number 3, number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Listen, if you guys haven't seen Air, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Jason Bateman, it's fantastic. It's way better than I thought it would be, and another big win for a Ben Affleck directed movie.
Barbie's my number 4. I liked it way more than I thought it was gonna.
I really quite enjoyed Barbie. I guess it's not going to end up being in my top 5 of the year, but I really did enjoy it a lot.
love
Much better than I thought it would be.
I love the cinematography, like the
It's
Ken
gorgeous.
song. It was like classic Hollywood dance number. It was awesome.
And I'm saying this as in like Best Picture. Like
Yeah, no,
stuff,
that's what we are too. Yeah, yeah.
Because Mutant Mayhem would be number 0.
Would be
But we
number
all
0.
know that's not going to get a Best Picture.
All
It's
right,
a
what's
great
next?
movie, though.
Peanut Punch. While looking up into info on movies, I was shocked that Cameron Diaz was 21 in The Mask. Keira Knightley was 18 in Pirates. Margot Robbie was 22 in Wolf of Wall Street, just because they seemed older. Well, that's movie makeup.
You know what? No, I look back to that Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I totally guess she was 18, 19 in that movie.
Keira Knightley did look very young.
Yeah, she looked very, very young. Margot Robbie, I thought, came across as really young in Wolf of Wall Street. Cameron Diaz was indeed very young in The Mask. I still contend to this day, and this is a very guy thing to say, but so be it. I don't know that any human being, male or female, has looked hotter in a movie role than Cameron Diaz in The Mask. I'll tell you, man, that to me was physical perfection. I remember watching that to this day. What would you put above that? What would you put above that?
Yeah, go. No.
No, you don't want everyone on that?
Let's move forward.
And then Margot Robbie has to be up there too with her performance in Wolf of Wall Street. On the guy side, I mean, I've been in a number of movies where Anne just about faints. I mean, Chris Hemsworth in the first Thor movie. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, like that. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Really good-looking people bother me because it's just not fair.
It's weird how they get roles in movies.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works. All right, what's
They're
next?
always topless too.
Ray versus the Trench Coat. After watching United 93, I was curious. Do you all remember where you were the morning of September 11th? Yeah, I was living at my parents' house still. I was in bed, actually. I was woken up.
I was about ready to go to school, and I went to school, and there was no one there except a couple people in the.
It's like 28 days later. You're like, where is everybody?
I mean, they sent us all home anyways. Yeah. No one could teach that day, but a small group of us were talking about it a little bit, and then the teacher said, "We got no plans today." So
2001. I was 22. Yeah, I was 22.
I was living in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, and that morning,
you could probably see it, right? You could see the smoke and all that stuff
from Saskatoon,
Canada?
Saskatchewan, Canada.
Well,
Saskatoon's like 1,000 miles away.
My bad. Sorry.
Canada's a big country.
Canada.
Don't know if you know that. Canada's much bigger than the U.S.
Over there.
I don't know if you knew that.
Canada. Whatever.
Much bigger than the U.S.
Yeah, but you wouldn't even see it from upstate New York.
But it was the morning of September 11th. I was getting ready to head to the airport to fly back to Toronto, Hamilton to go to a funeral. And as we were packing to get into the car to go to the airport, heard news that there was an accident, that there was like a plane crash accident. It's like, oh my God. By the time we got to the airport, it wasn't an accident anymore.
Right.
The second plane had hit the tower by the time we got
that
into the
I
airport.
had seen on the news. I saw the second tower hit live.
Oh yeah, me too.
And there was, I'm trying to see if I can find the picture for it. I apparently cannot because I can't find where to find I only know that the photo exists in Facebook somewhere, but I don't know how to find my photos anymore. Facebook has moved around. I don't use Facebook very much anymore.
Right?
What's that?
They grounded all the planes.
Oh yeah.
Well, there was an ABC News crew in the airport, and a bunch of us were standing around looking at the monitors, the television monitors in the airport, following the news what would happen. And ABC got me And there's a photo out there that I was going to show it to you here, but I can't find it. It's like I said, it's somewhere in my Facebook, and I don't know how to search my Facebook anymore since they moved it around. But there's a picture floating around of me out there on September 11th, like just standing there like,
oh, reacting to what was going on.
Yeah, looking at the television monitors. So yeah, I'll always remember where. Clearly, we did not get on a plane that day. All the planes were grounded and everything. We never did get home for the funeral. But yeah, that's what happened that day. All right, what's next?
Great Barrier Biscuits. Mr. John, after the video from the Usher concert, you were invited to the cookout. Unfortunately, after the negative words towards my beloved Amelia Clark, I'm going to have to take back that invitation for now. Sorry.
You know what? That's cool. A lot of, I don't go to barbecues where people recognize bad actors.
Oh, dang.
Guys, you know how you avoid all of this Amelia Clark talk? You stop sending messages in about Amelia Clark.
And by the way, I'm just teasing. All right, what's next?
All right, so that's it for tips.
All right, well then let's take this moment then to take a bit of a break to thank a couple of the sponsors of today's episode of Open Mic, our friends at BetterHelp and HelloFresh. Guys, we want to thank a sponsor of this video, BetterHelp. Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially because we're always growing and changing. Think about it. The person you were 5 years ago is not the exact person that you are today. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness and understanding, because sometimes we don't know what we want or why we react the way that we do until we talk things through. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. And guys, striving for better mental health is something we should all aspire to. I've talked about this before, but when somebody goes to the gym, we applaud them for getting out there to improve their physical health. Well, it's about time that we start looking at mental health the same way, not just by encouraging the people around us to look into therapy, but by also taking the step to take care of our own mental health as well. So listen, if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a short questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. So discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Campea today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Campea. Guys, we want to thank a sponsor of today's video, HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Fall is right around the corner, and HelloFresh is here to help you plan for the busy season ahead with tasty dishes delivered to your door. Simply choose your recipes and pick your delivery date, then lay back and enjoy the last days of summer knowing that dinner is covered. Feel like you would love a wholesome homemade meal, but there's just not enough time? Well, with HelloFresh, all you need is 15 minutes and you'll be enjoying a tasty, satisfying meal made in your own kitchen. Just look for their quick and easy dinner options, plus quick breakfasts and lunches too. My wife Ann and I are both working professionals, and dinner time is always stressful and time consuming. And that's one of the main reasons we absolutely love HelloFresh, and we always end up with a great dinner. So go to HelloFresh.com/50Campea and use the code 50Campea for 50% off plus free shipping. Again, that's HelloFresh.com/50Campea and use the code 50Campea. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. And thank you to our friends at BetterHelp and, of course, HelloFresh for sponsoring this episode. All right, we're going to move on now to the live questions that you guys who are watching live have sent in. Before we do, I finally did come across that image. Here's a picture. This is 22 years ago. I guess it's almost 22 years ago. Again, I said ABC was actually NBC. That is me with a bunch of other people standing around looking at the computer monitors or the television monitors in the airport terminal, watching the events unfold. And I remember my phone going off like crazy from everybody saying like, "Oh my God, the world's ending. Like this is crazy." But yeah, that was, oh my God, 22 years ago, that image. All right. Let's keep going. What's next?
Okay, on to super chats here. The Luke1234, the original Star Wars poster have had multiple updates for their DVD covers. Do you prefer the original artwork or the newer?
Look, you're supposed to say the original artwork, but for me, let me see if I can pull these up. Special edition posters. For me, my favorite ones are the special edition posters, to be honest with you. Let me see if I can get this on here. Nope, that's not the way to do it. Can I do it? I'm not sure that I can. Yes, I will be able to do it. No, I can't. Anyway, bring up my screen, whatever. These ones. These are my favorite Star Wars posters. And I know they're not the originals, and I know if you're a Star Wars fan, you're supposed to say the originals, but these to me are just my favorite posters. I love having these hanging on a wall side by side. To me, they're just the best. All right, what's next?
Roberto writes, hi, John and crew. Greetings from the happiest place on earth, Tijuana. One of my biggest influences while growing up in the appreciation of cinema was Siskel and Ebert.
Me too.
I wonder if they had any influence on yours as well. Border crossing hugs.
I'll tell you what, I grew up desperately tuning in whenever I could find that or knew that it was going to be on TV, watching as a kid, watching Siskel and Ebert. And then I would watch Entertainment Tonight so I could watch why am I freezing on his name? I'm looking at his face.
I don't know.
Entertainment Tonight?
No, not John Tesh. The guy who's actually the film critic. His daughter was on Schmodown a couple of times.
Oh yeah.
Why am I freezing? Why am I freezing on his name? He's like an idol of mine, and now I'm freezing on his name.
Roger Ebert?
No. I know who you're talking about. He does.
Leonard Maltin. Leonard Maltin.
Yeah, he does all that Disney. Like he knows Disney backwards and forwards.
I tell you what. So I would, whenever, like At the Movies was on, I would tune and watch it, and then my parents let me stay up to watch Entertainment Tonight just so I could see Leonard Maltin reviewing movies. So those were a couple of the big influence. It kind of came full circle because there was an awards. I was nominated for Film Critic of the Year at a ceremony a couple of years ago, and I was nominated against Leonard Maltin, one of my idols growing up, and I won. So I mean that was an incredible event for me. But those were the main influences for me growing up as a kid in the world of movies and movie critiquing and all that kind of stuff. All right, what's next?
All right. We've got Jedi Master here. Hey, Ray, definitely get those Air Jordan 1s, Bloodline. They are fresh.
They are
also,
fresh.
Thanks for acknowledging these tribal kicks yesterday.
Can I guess, every once in a while, true story. I've never minded Ramen Reigns.
Roman Reigns, yeah.
Ramen Reigns.
Ramen Reigns, I guess, because his hair looks like noodles.
Well, have you not seen Anne's shirt?
Oh, yeah.
It's a bowl of noodles shaped like Roman Reigns' face. It says Ramen Reigns.
She bought a shirt like that?
Yeah. It's really funny.
Wow,
anyway,
okay.
I've historically liked Roman Reigns. I have, but I remember Anne said, "Oh, by the way, SummerSlam is on," and I don't watch wrestling anymore, but we'll definitely watch WrestleMania every year, and we'll watch one or two or three of the big events, right? And my first question I asked was, "Is Roman Reigns still champion?" And she said, yes. Like, then I'm not interested. I mean, he's been champion for like almost 4 years now. I'm just like, can't they do anything different? Can't they? So I just kind of lost interest until they change it up a little bit.
It's going to be a big event when he does lose it, but it ain't
probably
going to be anytime soon.
All right, what's next?
God, Jedi Master is back. Vision, what is grief? What is grief if not love persevering? Hadaway, what is love if baby don't hurt? Don't hurt me no more.
Baby don't hurt.
No drum shots for that. No drum shots for that.
Writes, if Gran Turismo is great, do you think it can revive Neil Blomkamp's career? I love District 9, but didn't like anything else he's done.
I am 100% with you that I love District 9. Mm-hmm. And then he did Elysium, and everybody was excited, me included, like super excited about Elysium. I remember I got invited to the special event, and I got to hang out with Jodie Foster and Matt Damon and like all this thing for Elysium. That was the night before I got to see the movie. So I was so psyched. And then I went in to see Elysium, and I'm like, oh, this is poop. This is really bad.
Elysium?
Elysium.
Poolisium.
Pooisium is what it should have been called. It was bad. And then he did Chappie, which I remember thinking, okay, this will get it back. Because he also had the guy from District 9 was in Chappie, right? So like, okay, this is going to be it. And Chappie was poop. Like real poop.
Chap poop.
Chap poop. poopy.
I am.
Poopy.
This is amazing. This is amazing conversation.
This
I'm
is
glad you guys
high
could
level.
tune
This is the
in.
high level dialogue you tune into the John Campea Show for.
Megalodoodoo, baby.
Megalodoodoo and poopy.
Can we just cut that whole conversation, that segment out, and post it?
It was bad, and ever since we've kind of been waiting to see if we can catch glimpses of those flashes of brilliance we saw in him with District 9. Let's be honest with each other, though. I am fascinated by Gran Turismo because it's not a video game movie. It's a movie based on a true story. And I think that's a really interesting approach, and I'm excited. We're going to go see it tomorrow night.
Yeah.
No, is that what we're seeing tomorrow?
Yeah.
So we're seeing it tomorrow night.
What time?
I'm
I
not
don't
sure.
know. We'll just be late, I guess.
But we will be. But let's be honest with each other, shall we? We're all friends here. We can be honest with each other. Friends, what do they say in Stranger Things? Friends tell each other the truth.
Only seen season 1. Sorry.
All right. Well, friends tell each other the truth. So let's tell each other the truth. No one's going to go see this movie. This movie's not going to make any money. I haven't looked at opening weekend projections for it. Maybe you can look up Gran Turismo opening weekend box office projections. I'm guessing it's going to be, low.
Oh man, double feature: Blue Turismo.
Blue Turismo, Blue Beetle, Gran Turismo, Blue Turismo. There you go. I just don't think anybody's going to go see it. I'm not hearing anybody talking about it.
Early box office.
You got talking to the mic, Ray.
Oh, sorry. Oh, no. I can't find anything right now. 35 to 55 million.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, that's way more than I thought. I would have pegged it at like 25. 20 to 25
Don't peg
tops.
anything.
35 to 55. It ain't.
Box Office Pro. Is that a good site to look at?
Yeah, Box Office Pro. I mean, they're not always right, but most of the time they are pretty much usually within range.
You know what? There's nothing out
I don't
that's like
believe it, though. I do not believe $35 million worth of people are going to go see Gran Turismo.
Look, we don't know how big the Gran Turismo fan base is. I mean, it
It's
was
true. Yeah,
it's one of
you're
the titles that people used to buy PlayStation for because it was, Gran Turismo's on that. I know my racing buddies, they always love playing that game, but it's been a while. It's been a long time since it's had its name up in the, up there. So we'll see. This will be very interesting for me. If I like this movie, that means I'm 3 for 3 with all the Sony releases. Uncharted. What was the last one we watched?
Right.
What was Uncharted? And then it was what was the one after that we just
Well, you saw Across the Spider-Verse recently. That's Sony.
No. PlayStation production.
Game.
Oh, PlayStation. Oh, yeah. It was. What was the other one?
There was one after Uncharted.
Well, Last of Us, but that's on television. It's not a movie.
Oh, was it?
Maybe you're thinking about Last of Us. Anyway, all right. What's next?
Harvest K writes, Scott's historical epics have especially been spotty. We got Gladiator and Last Duel, but we also got 1492, Kingdom of Heaven. I like Kingdom of Heaven, though. The director's cut
wasn't
good.
bad.
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood was poop.
And and Exodus. Napoleon feels a bit of a crapshoot. I liked 1492 also, but it was very 90s.
I also didn't mind Exodus. I'll be honest with you. I didn't mind Exodus, but Robin Hood, which has my favorite actor, Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
That movie was bad, man. I mean, Ridley went through a stretch of a good 5, 6, or 7 years where he just put out crappy film after crappy film. It wasn't until The Martian that all of a sudden everybody went, "Oh, Ridley Scott is back, baby!"
Go to space, baby.
But listen, for Joaquin Phoenix to sign up for it, that's a pretty big vote of confidence for me. And the previews I've seen look incredible. So I've got a lot of faith in this movie. I really do in Napoleon. All right, what's next?
We just said Harvest K. We got Dylan Fernando who writes, Gunn said Creature Commandos takes place in modern day. Frank Grillo will play Rick Flag's dad. Will we see Rick Flag Sr. in Peacemaker Season 2 or Waller?
Well, I mean, we're getting a Waller series, so I don't have any reason to doubt that we would see Waller pop up in Peacemaker Season 2. Could we see Frank Grillo pop up in, I'm going to guess,
Peacemaker?
In Peacemaker Season 2.
Oh, why? Because Peacemaker's probably going to kill him too.
Well, he might be looking for vengeance.
No, he'll just stab him in the heart.
I mean, Rick Flag had to go.
He didn't have to go.
Rick Flag had to go.
He was the he was the dude that kept everyone together.
I
Come
liked
on.
Rick Flag very much, but his death served a great narrative purpose.
Yeah, it served the purpose of me not watching anymore.
By the way, Frank Grillo, he did a show with Nick Jonas called Kingdom.
Oh yeah, isn't that fighting one?
The MMA show.
Yeah, MMA.
Right? And I know there's like 4 or 5 shows called Kingdom out there, but this one was really good.
Yeah.
It was surprisingly good. Frank Grillo plays an older veteran MMA fighter who's semi-retired, and he's opened up a gym of his own, and his 2 sons are MMA fighters. Nick Jonas plays one of his sons, and it is a phenomenal show. Really, really, it's over now, but it's phenomenal. If you haven't seen Kingdom with Frank Grillo, Nick Jonas, go find it. It's actually really, really good. All right, what's next?
All right, as I chew my cookie here, Orlando Orrego says, boy, Christopher must not be happy when his movie is third to 2 WB movies this past weekend.
I don't think Nolan has any problem. Like, you usually tell Christopher Nolan, hey, your movie about a period piece scientist guy who created a bomb is going to make over $500 million. Christopher Nolan doesn't give a shit what other movies are out or what other movies are making at the box office. I don't think there were a ton of people that, maybe not even Nolan himself, that thought, I mean, everybody thought that movie, it's Christopher Nolan, can be successful. I don't think people thought it was going to cross $500 million. Get up into make more than Dunkirk did. Mm-hmm. So I don't think he minds at all. Whatever other movies are out there, it doesn't take away or add to. Listen, if Barbie flopped, it doesn't add a single dollar to what Oppenheimer made. Yeah. And if Barbie was a $3 billion movie, it doesn't take away a single dollar that Oppenheimer has made. So I don't think Christopher Nolan cares at all, to be honest with you. All right, what's next?
Jamie Sundays writes, watching season 2 of Winning Time is great so far. It makes me wonder if any studio would ever tackle a Kobe biopic. The rise and fall and rise again of Kobe's story is quite cinematic in itself for film.
It would be difficult.
Too soon.
It would be. It's not a matter of it being too soon.
No, for me it is.
Well,
well, you just don't go see it.
Yeah.
Right?
But I also think it's like the Michael Jackson biopic. There is a problematic element to it about how do you approach the story, because the reality is,
Yep.
Kobe Bryant had to admit in court that he sexually assaulted a girl. Now, granted, he got to word it in his admission that he acknowledged the way the way they pleaded it down was he had to make a statement in court that, yes, she totally felt like she was being sexually assaulted. Like, I wasn't sexually assaulted, but I totally acknowledged that she absolutely felt like she was being sexually assaulted. Guess what? If a girl feels she's being sexually assaulted, she's being sexually assaulted. That being said, it creates a problem about, let's say you do a Kobe Bryant-like story in the manner of Winning Time. How do you approach that? Do you avoid it altogether and pick up the story? Like, do you just pick up season 1 about his rookie year and his second year and then skip a couple of years when all the stuff happened and go late to the last part of his career after that? That might tick some people off. It'll tick people off if you portray it in any way that it looks like Kobe was actually guilty. It'll piss a bunch of people off. If you kind of brush over it and make it look like he wasn't guilty, if you use the show to make it look like he wasn't guilty, it's going to piss some other people off. It's difficult. It's a problematic thing. And listen, the people of Los Angeles love Kobe Bryant. I mean, after he died, we went down to the day after he died, we went down to what was called the Staples Center at the time. Now it's called what? The Crypto. Mm-hmm. But it was called Staples Center at the time. And just the tens and hundreds of thousands of people down there and the tributes and all that kind of stuff. And so with a very, very passionate following, it makes it very problematic about how you would then approach that. So I don't know. I don't know if they would, to be honest with you. All right, what's next?
Orlando Orrego, when I first saw Fight Club, I hated it. I watched it a second time, then I enjoyed it. Has that happened to you guys? Which movie was it, for sure?
I was just talking about that on the John Campea Show podcast today. For me, it was Inglourious Bastards. I don't know why. I hated that movie the first time I saw it. Hated it. I thought it was terrible. I was borderline angry that I had to sit through it. And then for whatever reason, like a year later or something, I watched it again and I'm like, is this the same movie? Why didn't I like it? It is now my second favorite Quentin Tarantino movie, only behind Inglourious Bastards, or only behind Django Unchained, I should say. So that's one to me that I hated at first and now I love. Do you guys have one of those?
I don't know about hate, but I will say when the first time I saw, because it was so much hype about it in the theater, well, the first time I saw Dumb and Dumber, I was like, I think that was funny. It was like, okay. And then the second time I saw it, I don't know what clicked. I was like, this is freaking genius. This is hysterical. Why didn't I think this was funny the first time?
That's a movie. I agree with you. The movie is genius,
Yeah.
but it's a movie you got to be in the right mood for when you watch it. It really is. And maybe have one or two adult beverages in you too while you do it. I'm sorry. I know it's crude, but what's the name of Jim Carrey's co-star on that again?
Jeff Daniels.
Yeah.
Jeff Daniels.
The Martian, baby.
The Martian,
The
baby.
Martian too, Mo.
Also, his show Newsroom, amazing. Anyway, but his scene after taking the horse laxatives and going to that family's bathroom, I know it is one of the crudest scenes ever filmed in
You can get a poster
entertainment.
of that
It's
scene.
the crudest sounding scene.
But it is, I die laughing every
would.
time. The way he plays, the way he stiffens his legs
Yeah.
up and the
go
look
up
on
in the
his
air.
face.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, this is
They
one of
go
the
up in the air.
some of the funniest shit I have, no pun intended, some of the funniest shit I've ever seen.
You know that thing splashed up to his butt cheeks.
Oh, absolutely it did. Of course it did.
yeah, it was like a brown fireworks.
Not to be crude, but yeah, let's get graphic.
All right, what's next?
Orlando's back. Sorry, guys, for asking a question you already answered on podcast today. Anyway, here's some more support and bring on the filthy.
Oh, thank you for that, Orlando. Appreciate
You
that,
don't
man.
ever have to apologize.
Yeah, don't apologize for
All right, what's next?
Not for what we put you guys through on the show. Tumbling tornado. Okay,
Tornado,
well,
baby.
here we go. Hello, JC and crew. I'd pay $49.99 for a bundle of Disney Plus. The Disney Plus bundle and Paramax, Apcock Flicks Prime Plus.
Flicks. Prime
Well,
Plus.
that's a mouthful. Insert Michael Scott clip. Anyway, a bundle of all of them sounds really good, though. Oh, and there's a $20 super chat, by the way.
Oh, thank you for that, Tumbling Tornado. Yeah, we discussed earlier today on the podcast about how, earlier this year, David Zaslav said he'd be open to the idea of bundling Max in with another streaming service. And then today, or yesterday, the head of Paramount said that, hey, we are all for bundling. We would love to bundle. We think bundling is a great value add for the consumer and a great for our business. They, of course, just merged in with Showtime and they got a really nice bump out of that. And so we talked today about some of the ways that bundling may be coming, especially when almost all of the streaming services, Netflix has been adding streamers or subscribers lately, but just recently they went through a downtick where basically all the streaming services are either flatlining or losing subscribers right now. They got to be looking for ways to do this, and bundling may be the answer to that. It just might be. All right. With that down, guys, speaking of saving money, we want to take a second here and thank another sponsor of today's episode. They are my mobile service provider. They save me tons of money every year. They will for you too, our friends at Mint Mobile. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Mint Mobile. Signing your life away to a big wireless provider is kind of like being trapped on a roller coaster from hell. Sure, it looks like fun at first. They probably even threw in a free phone, but now you can't get off. Month after month of insane bills and unexpected thrills, like overages and surprise fees. If that sounds like your current big wireless plan, it's time to get off the ride with Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are just $15 a month. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for just $15 a month. You guys know before I came to Mint Mobile, I was paying triple what I am paying now on the standard big wireless plan, and I will never go back. All plans come with unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. To get your new unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped right to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at Mint Mobile for sponsoring this episode. All right, guys, we got a few questions left to get to. Let's finish them off. What do we got up next?
Okay, Timothy Husak's first ever super chat, and it's just for support. Thank you.
Thank you, Timothy. Appreciate that, man.
Alex Von Gollum writes, "Hello there. Your ideas for the streaming bundles names reminded me of Pineapple Pen song. Oh yeah, creating an ad based on the song would become viral. I forgot about the Pineapple Pen song.
What are we talking about? What is that?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I mean, I don't know if I can. I'll try to Google like images of it or whatever. But it was like this. It was this ridiculous song, and like
It was because of two products put together.
yeah, I think so. I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, what's next?
All right. Luke1234 writes, if Netflix was only Netflix originals, Paramount was only originals, and content was no longer licensed out to other platforms, and these platforms no longer did ad tiers, could that solve residuals? They
No.
still need money.
No. It wouldn't solve residuals. It would actually make the problem worse. It would actually, because then the studios would really say no residuals, because we're not making any extra money off of more people watching. So that would kind of get rid of that. Also, it's kind of interesting. A lot of people forget too that, like with Netflix, I mean, we think of Netflix, we think of Stranger Things, we think of the original content, but the reality is their licensed content far outweighs the viewership they get than their original content. Like far outweighs it. It's crazy. Like without their if it was all just original content, Netflix wouldn't have that much of a business. I think it was all just original content. I have a feeling Disney Plus and Max would be the two biggest streaming services in the world. But Apple TV Plus is certainly making headways with their original content. It would be a different game. But the lifeblood of Netflix, which is still the biggest player in the game, the lifeblood of Netflix is their licensed content, to be honest with you. All right, what's next?
All right. Downwell writes, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Star Wars, easy. I mean, when I say Star Wars, I mean the three original films. Star Wars, Empire, or New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi. I count that as one thing. Star Wars, easily favorite thing of all time. All right, what's next?
Azaz writes, Talk to Me is getting a sequel and I'm very excited.
Yep, the announcement came out today that, look, when these little low-budget movies do make a splash, they tend to follow it up quickly, and I haven't seen the movie yet, but I'm looking forward to it. All right, what's next?
Timothy Husak writes with a $20 super chat.
Oh, thank you, Timothy.
Hey there, guys. I've been a fan since the AMC days. I just wanted to get your thoughts on the passing of William Friedkin, the director behind some of the best movies of all time, like The French Connection, The Exorcist, and also To Live and Die in L.A.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit earlier. You know, it's funny. When you're talking about the great cop movies and great car stuff, whatever, the great Gene Hackman's The French Connection, it doesn't get acknowledged enough.
Yeah, most people go to Bullet.
Yep. And hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. But French Connection is like, it's serious. It's not Godfather, but it's Godfather-esque in the sense that it's one of those movies you gotta watch. Like, I'm actually thinking about writing a book, just call something along that would just be not the 100 greatest films of all time, but the 100 movies that I think every movie fan's got to have in their repertoire. Like 100 movies that every real movie fan has to have watched, right? And French Connection, it was funny because when I was thinking about doing that book and I was kind of jotting down some notes, I just remember like I'd be breaking it up into certain sections, and French Connection would absolutely be one of those. And yeah, it's like not many directors can ever say that they directed a film that's going to be on several all-time lists. He did several of them.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a rare thing, and it's
You know what's funny about French Connection too is people always mention Gene Hackman, but they forget Roy Scheider.
Yeah.
And he's so good in it.
You know what's funny? When I think of Roy Schneider,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think of French Connection. And I don't even think of Jaws.
Because Jaws would be where most people go to.
Right. Most people go to Jaws.
Jazz singer? Not jazz singer. What's that one where he's I'll look it up, but yeah, go ahead.
No, and I don't think anybody will guess.
Uh-huh.
Blue Thunder.
All that jazz I was thinking.
Right.
Blue Thunder.
Blue
Yeah.
Thunder.
Yeah.
The one about the helicopter.
Yep. It's like a drone helicopter, right?
No, it's not drone.
No, he's not, but there's drones in it, and they become the ultimate, like, It has to
Well,
do.
no, it was based on a lot of real technology that existed at the time.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I remember the biggest thing was like, he would have this helmet and wherever he looked, the guns
They would go. It was
would
like,
go. And
oh,
at that
so
time, that was like
cool.
considered
Yeah.
sci-fi, right? And it was strange because around the same time, not long after that, a ripoff of it called Airwolf came out. That was on TV with one top 3 greatest musical themes of a TV show
I love
ever.
Airwolf's theme song.
Like that is top 3. Knight Rider, that, and maybe A-Team is the top opening theme musics ever of any television show. And I'm not talking about opening songs. I'm talking about opening theme music.
Oh, no, Growing Pains was pretty good.
That's a song.
Oh,
That's not theme music. That's a song. The greatest song opening for any TV show ever is Peacemaker. Do you really want to taste it? I don't know. Let's kill Rick Flag. I love it. It's fabulous.
did you see
There's
how we
some Blue
added that
Thunder
right
for
there?
you.
You gotta add that.
No, I didn't add that. That's totally original lyrics. Let's kill Rick Flag is totally part of the. There it is. Blue Thunder, man. I remember watching that as a kid.
Oh, what is that? Some Airwolf wannabe?
I remember watching that as a kid and just being blown away by
I
it.
loved Airwolf. I was looking at all the toy stores to try to see if I could find that cheap Airwolf, and I think I saw one, but when I asked my mom, she just turned around and I said, that must have been expensive.
Come on, man. Ernest Borgnine,
Ernest Borgnine.
Jan Michael Vincent, Airwolf, baby.
Yeah, Airwolf
You know
is
what's
so
funny?
good, man.
That joke you just said about that looks like a Airwolf ripoff. It reminds me, there was this online comic strip. Guys in the live chat, tell me honestly if you ever heard of this or read it. I think my favorite all-time online comic strip,
The
was-
helicopter was dope, though.
a comic called Player versus Player, PvP.
I think I
And it was about this group of characters that ran a gaming magazine.
oh, never mind. I
Right?
was thinking of something else. Spy versus Spy.
So I don't know if any of you guys remember that Player versus Player, but one of the jokes that they did once that just totally made me like howl was one of the older guys in the office is introducing one of the younger kids who works at the magazine to Lord of the Rings. And the kid comes back and said, this Lord of the Rings is just a total Dungeons and Dragons ripoff. The dwarves and elves and rangers. It's, of course,
Right. That's
Lord
like
of the Rings came long before Dungeons and
original,
Dragons. But anyway,
yeah.
just what you said there kind of reminds me of that. Guys, seriously, if you can look it up, you could probably find it online somewhere. Now, I'm going to spend my evening tonight going through and reading old PvP. I used to love that comic strip.
yeah, okay.
All right, is that it?
That was it.
And guys, that'll do it for today's installment of Open Mic. Thank you so much for being here and making this little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those questions. Number one, because you gave us really fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. I want to thank the guys in the studio with me, Ray Ora,
Yeah.
Jonathan Voico's here.
All right, I am here.
My name's John Campea. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.